Hi, I'm Julie Dorman. Welcome to this little tutorial I'm going to offer you on how to refine your quad stretches. It's really like the art of the quad stretch. I am a huge fan of quad stretches, and I do believe that they offer the practitioner in their body and during their practice great possibility for refinement in how they feel their legs engaging, their legs aligning, and also how they get better extension through their spine, and it can release a lot of tension also in the lower back. So quad stretches do a lot. And so I have Deborah here. She's going to help show. We're going to go through a couple of different variations that are good options for you, and then I'll talk about some of the specifics of how they work. So let's come up to stand. And the first easy way to do a quadriceps stretch, so that just to be clear, the quads are the muscles, it's a group of 4 muscles that run up the front of the thigh. And if they get very, very stiff and tight, we all sit for long periods of time. The pelvis can be very tucked under. And so whatever kind of exercise you're doing, usually running and cycling and all that, the front of the leg gets very, very tight, and it will pull the thighs to the front plane of the body. It's a good demo right there. And then it can actually start to seal up and seize up some of the movement that you need in your lower back. So to take the thighs back, to take the quads back and give a really good stretch to the thighs, first of all, you'll see it's really euphoric. It can feel very, very good. But in general, it can also stabilize the knee joint and give you more accessibility to the bend of the knee, and then start to give you more accessibility to the length of the spine. So here's one easy way to do it. First way I'm going to say is use a wall. If balance is an issue for you, you can always take one hand to the wall, but Deborah's solid, so balance on your left leg and you'll bend your right leg back. Take hold of the foot. And I'm here to help. And one of the things you're looking for, and Deborah does it so well, is to keep the knees even with each other. And so that when you take the thigh stretch, you're pulling the foot close to, think of it as the sitting bone. So lining up the foot toward the outside edge of the hip or thigh, and that'll give you some better stretch to the front of the thigh. And then go ahead and release that and just take the second leg. So you're balanced. And it's challenging here to keep an awareness of where your foot is in space. Is it moving toward the other leg and all that? So you try to pull the foot up. But here as you squeeze in, you're going to try to send your sitting bone all the way back to the heel as you pull the foot in, and that'll give you a really good stretch. And then go ahead and release. Very good. One of the other benefits of doing it in a standing position is that your thigh, if you noticed her thighs and her spine were on the same plane. Both of them were vertical. And so this way there was no, if you will, pressure on the low back to back bend and all of that. So it's much safer for the lower back to do it in a standing position or just thinking of this vertical line. So the next one is come to hands and knees, please. The next one is going to be from Anjaneyasana. And go ahead and step your, let's start with the left foot forward between your hands. And you come to a lunge for this. Sometimes this is called lunge thigh stretch. The first way to do this, also to keep it easy, is to bring your front hand to the inside of the ankle. You can go a little wider with the foot, and then go ahead and start to bend your back knee, and you'll reach back with the hand to find the foot. Right there. And you start with the outer edge of the foot. And see here that same line, the thigh and the torso moving more likely to be in a line with each other. And so now she's going to spread her toes and get good power. As the knee pushes down to the floor, she's going to pull it forward, and you see that action of the thigh moving back. Do me a favor, though. Do it opposite. Let your hip go forward and show the difference. So that's often the way people do thigh stretches, with the thigh pushing forward, and it only stretches the hip flexor area. You want to stretch the quads. It's a quad stretch. So push down, pull the thigh back, and as she keeps the foot in or pulls it in even closer, then it's really good to release some of the tension that can be just at the base of the quads as you get the thigh back. And then go ahead and release that out just to show second leg. And take your time. And see, she walks the front foot out a smidge wider, just a little bit wider. It gives a little more freedom for the pelvis and the legs, and then she'll reach back with the hand, and I'm here to help. And once again, same thing here, just showing that the knee pushes down, and think of it as a digging down and a little bit dragging forward. So the top of this thigh here moves back and the foot comes in. And then go ahead, release that out. And then take a down dog to stretch it out. Excellent. And then go ahead, please, again, Deb. Step your left foot forward and put the right knee down. This time, bring your hands up to your front knee. So as we prep, this is going to be a thigh stretch now. It's going to be more back bendy. So it will require you find the good alignment through the legs and the power through the leg so that you can start to move toward a more back bend shape. So she'll bend the back knee again and reach around, find the foot. And see, so you get this upright shape. It's more back bendy. So the power is needed in the feet and in the legs, pushing this back knee down, dragging it forward. So the sitting bone, think of taking the thighs back. Can you show it opposite again? Let the hips go forward and pull the foot in. And it might feel good, and I get that. It feels really good to stretch the front of the hip flexors. But to protect the low back and to be more favorable for the rest of your body, it's very good to take the sit bone back instead. See how the thigh goes back? That's good. And then release it out. And take a down dog to stretch. And then we're actually just going to move on to the next one. So let's switch legs. Take your right leg forward, please. Come into Pigeon Pose. And so this next one is also very common to do a quadricep stretch during a Pigeon Pose, which in and of itself is a hip opener. So you're getting the legs on all directions here. And so you find a healthy Pigeon Pose where both legs are holding your weight balanced, and then bend your back knee and with the left hand hold the foot. And just pause there for a sec. And really common when I see people do this sometimes is to, without hurting yourself, can you lean to the right too much, like fall to your right leg, and then try to pull. See, that's very common how people do a quad stretch. And then what it does is put a lot of pressure on the low back on one side. So I'm going to say release that, squeeze the knees in a little better. So now she balances out. Then with the back knee down, drag it forward, same thing. You bend this back elbow and pull the foot in. Now she's got open quads, so that's pretty deep. That shows you where it can go. Then see, it's also back bendy. Now a further version of this, you good to keep going? A further version of this is to walk your front hand up the knee and thigh. This takes more power. Squeeze the knees in a lot, keeping the thigh stretch, and then you get a bigger back bend. Option here is take the right arm up. And then last, and this is what leads you to all these big back bendy variations of this pose. That thigh stretch is the key. That's beautiful. And then exhale and release. Very good. Will you stretch back to down dog? Thanks. And then as she stretches out, just thinking about it too, there might be any look at that and you'd be like, I can't do any of that. So it could be that balance is really the big problem or the big thing you feel you're lacking. So here is the easiest version of all is to do it on your side. So come forward to a plank pose, Deb, and then lower down to your belly. And flip over, lay on your right side first. And you can bend your right knee. And so you just take this very simple variation laying on your side. The bottom leg, can you see her bottom leg is bent? That's going to help you balance. And she's propped up here to help balance. And then you'll take your left hand, left foot combo. And this is just like standing, only your bottom leg is bent for support. And it's the same thing here. It's that long line here that will not run the risk of back bending. Plus you're on the floor for easier balance. And then you can pull the foot in close to the outer edge. It's more the outer edge of your butt. So that gives a really good clean line to your knee. And then go ahead and release that. And then just roll to your side. Let's show the other side, what it looks like from the front. So she's going to lay on her left side. Prop up, balance up, and taking a thigh stretch on your side. Way accessible, really accessible. And see here, just working to get the thighs more lined up to each other. I'm going to show an opposite. So you don't want your knee pushing forward. You'd want your knee, if anything, lined up with the pelvis, with the shoulder. So just that straight line. Excellent. And release it down. And come to lay on your belly. And then push back to a child's pose. Awesome. So this is just a little exploration of some refined workings for your quadriceps stretches. I hope you try them out and find them useful. Thanks so much.